The following lesson is linked to Learning Outcome 2, Reading and Viewing. It addresses the assessment standard that requires learners to explore and explain key features of texts and how they contribute to meaning in visual, audio, and multimedia texts. Learners should be able to recognize the use of visual, audio, and audiovisual techniques, such as the use of color, dialogue, music, sound, lighting, editing, framing, styles of shot, camera techniques, foregrounding, and backgrounding.
Hi, I'm Megan. Shooting a film is not as simple as going off with a camera and pushing record. The director and cinematographer of a film have to carefully select the shots they choose. They may choose to show a building from far away to indicate that this is where the action is going to happen. Or they may choose to zoom in on something to emphasize a particular detail. Even if you haven't been consciously aware of the different types of shots that directors and cinematographers use, one thing's for sure, if they only used one type of shot, you'd find the film very boring indeed. In today's lesson, we're going to learn more about some of the different shots that directors and cinematographers can choose and some of the effects that these create. By the end of this lesson, you will be able to identify and name different shots that are used in film and comment on the effect that these shots create. Before we can learn about the different shots that a cinematographer can use, we have to understand the basics of how a camera works. To work a camera, you look through the viewfinder here. This enables you to see what the camera will film. If you like what you see, you push record. However, you might decide that the thing you are filming looks too small and far away, so you may want to zoom in closer. Or you may decide that the person you are filming is too close, and you want to see more of the background. In this case, you would zoom out. So the cinematographer doesn't have to move the camera closer or further away from the subject. Instead, he or she zooms in and out. Now that we understand a bit about how a camera works, let's begin by learning some terminology to describe the different shots. We'll begin with the long or establishing shot. An establishing or long shot shows the subject in its surroundings. Shots like these are called establishing shots because they help to establish the scene in a viewer's mind. Novels work in much the same way. An author will often begin a novel by describing where the scene is set. This enables a reader to visualize the setting. In films, when they show you an establishing shot, you're able to imagine where the action takes place. Have a look at these examples of long or establishing shots. Notice how they set the scene for the drama to unfold. So if long shots or establishing shots are used to set the scene, how are you shown a character for the first time? The first time you see a character, you're often shown a full shot of that person. A full shot shows the whole subject. In a full shot, the focus is on the character rather than the background. Can you think of a reason for this? Well, let's look at some examples. Full shots like these enable the viewer to observe the actions of the character. A full shot also enables you to see the character's costume. This is important if the filmmaker is trying to show you the time period or location of the action. You can tell a lot about people by how they are dressed, how well groomed they are, even how they sit or stand. Have a look at these full shots of different characters and see what judgments you make about them. Based on how they look, what professions do you think they follow? How wealthy do you think they are? Take a look. Your assumptions about the characters might be correct, or they might not be. What I'm trying to prove to you is how easily and how quickly we make judgments about other people based on how they look. Filmmakers know this, and that's why they often introduce a character by showing a full shot. Once we've met the character, sometimes the filmmaker will zoom in a little closer. This is known as a medium shot. A medium shot shows the subject cut off at waist height. In a medium shot, the character is shown in some detail and body language can be observed. Do you know what body language is? Well, even when you're not speaking, your body has its own way of communicating. How you sit, what you do with your arms, and the gestures you make can tell a lot about what you are thinking and how you feel about yourself. Look at this example. You can still see what the character is wearing, and you can see his gestures, even though his whole body is not shown. You are able to work out quite a lot about a character from his or her body language. The way that someone is standing or sitting, and the gestures that they make with their hands and arms can give you some clues about what the person is thinking or feeling. Here is some body language that you might be able to observe in a medium shot. What does this man's body language tell you about him? What is this woman communicating through her body language? And what can you tell about this character? I'm sure you were able to tell a lot about those characters just from observing their body language. Even if you're not conscious of doing this, you analyze people's body language all the time. Filmmakers know this, and that's why they often show full shots of characters. Sometimes, however, a filmmaker wants to show you a character in even more detail. Filmmakers cut to a close-up to enable viewers to get an even closer look at the characters. That's what's happening now. Note how this makes the character appear larger than life on screen. This type of shot is known as a close-up shot. In a close-up shot, the subject fills the whole screen. When you are shown a close-up shot of a character, you're able to observe his or her facial features and expressions. From seeing these, you're able to tell even more about a character. Have a look at these examples. Can you work out what these characters' emotions and feelings are just by looking at the close-up shots?
Right, next question. Remember everybody, if none gets the...
Close-ups are often used at emotional parts of a film so that a viewer can deeply sense what a character is feeling. Sometimes this effect is made even greater by using an extreme close-up shot. We've already talked about zooming. Here the camera moves closer towards this character so that you can see the character in even more detail. In an extreme close-up shot, the image is magnified to focus on a specific detail. This technique is used to emphasize detail or show a specific feature or emotion. Sometimes filmmakers will include an extreme close-up shot of a feature of a character, such as the eyes. See how the eyes convey emotion. At other times, an extreme close-up shot might be shown of an item that has particular significance. Why do you think the cinematographer has shown extreme close-ups of these objects? If you had seen the whole film, you would know how significant these objects are to the plot. So far, we have looked at 5 different types of shots. To revise these, we're going to look at examples of each. An establishing or long shot. This establishes the scene and shows where the action takes place. A full shot. Here you can see the whole character. A medium shot. You can see the character from the waist up and observe body language. A close-up. Here you can see the character's facial expressions. An extreme close-up. Notice how the cinematographer has zoomed in on something specific. Now that you're familiar with the 5 main types of shots, it's time for today's task. Here's a short film sequence. As you watch it, write down the following: the shots that have been used, and the reasons why you think each shot was chosen. I hope that you enjoy the task. To reinforce what we've learned today, pay attention when you watch films or TV. See if you can determine what shots have been used and why these have been chosen. Happy viewing. Goodbye.